Hi, I'm Marjorie from Marjorie's Candies and Cookies, and what I'm making, I am preparing a pie crust, and this is a pie crust I use for many of my pies, like apple, peach, blueberry, but I'm preparing to make a cherry pie right now, so I'm going to show you what I do. This is a 10-inch pie pan, and I have 2 2/3 cups of flour in here. What I'm going to do is add 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, okay, and I'm going to add that to my flour, and I'm just going to mix it in a little, okay, so it doesn't all get stuck to the shortening when I add that. Alright, now I'm going to add the shortening and the butter, and I'm going to use this pastry cutter. You can get this at any of the kitchen supply shops. I'm just going to cut this in. Let me grab a knife. Can't remember everything. Every so often I just clean this off. Just try to cut that in so it gets a little crumbly. And then we're going to add ice water. And I put a little vanilla in that. Just makes the pie crust taste to have a little bit more flavor. And you don't want to rush through this. You want to take your time and make it right. It will, the butter should be a little cool. This keeps the pie crust getting flaky. I'm just going to do it one more time. This is a very, very large pie crust. So it doesn't hurt. Just do a little more. It should look like cornmeal when you're done. Okay, we'll set that aside. Now I'm going to measure about a half a cup of water. Before I get to a half a cup, though, I like to add a little vanilla. This is a half a teaspoon here, and that's certainly good enough. Okay. I'll just add a little more water. Less is better than more when you talk about water. I like to use a couple of forks when I do this, you see, together. So you just can add, sort of slowly, I take the forks and I kind of put them in funny, like this. It just kind of gives me twice the amount of fork power. And just bring it together. Add a little more water. You're going to need all of this. It will eventually come together. What I'm going to do is add the rest of this, and then I'm actually just going to, let's get it in there a little bit, get the flour in a little bit wet there. I'm going to bring this together very quickly in my mixer. I'm going to put it all in, and it will just bring it together very quickly. You don't want to work dough too much. And that should really, let me feel that, that's good. Okay, just to bring it together. I'm going to empty this table. I'll put a little flour down. That's just flour. bring your dough over and dump it out. And just kind of bring, you don't really want to knead this, you just kind of want to push it together. Okay. And then you're going to cut it in half. Half. It's not quite half, huh? Cheat a little. And then we just, that's our pie. Believe it or not, the pie is already in the oven. This gives our magic away, the magic secret away. So back to here. And what I'd like to do, I'll just put a little, you could just put that on a plate. It's a little flour. And then you kind of want to press it down a little bit because then it's sort of ready in a position to roll. And I'm going to cover it with some saran wrap, and I'm going to refrigerate it for half an hour. Okay, we're going to take the pie crust. Just one of them I'll take out. It's been about a half an hour, maybe, if we're lucky. I'm going to take this one. It's a little larger, and the bottom of the pie is going to need more crust than the top, since I'm making a lattice crust for my cherry pie. And I'll put this back in. Okay. Now don't be afraid to add some flour. It really will make it easier. Okay. I'm going to take my little rolling pin and just, now when you use butter and Crisco together, it makes it really a nice, it rolls out so nicely. Okay, I put a little weight on the center of the crust. I'm going to keep moving it around because it's just a good idea. The center of the crust is a little thicker, so I put a little weight on the center. Like I said, don't be afraid to use some flour. It won't matter in the end. And it will make it much easier to roll. Every so often you might want to pick up your pie pan and see if you're not getting too big. Where is my pie pan? Well, that's good. In the sink. Well, that should be good, actually. Should be good. Okay. I want to make it a little bit rounder. You want it to be, that's good. A little bit more. Won't hurt. Okay. And then loosen it up a little on the board. Oh, that's good. And you fold it in half. Over here. And you bring the center, bring it to the center, turn it around, and open it up. Try not to get any holes in it, because that's where stuff will seep through while it's baking. Okay, so there's your bottom pie crust. And you can set it aside.